How's it going, man?
Good, good.
So, unfortunately, first loss of the year. Talk me through it.
Sure.
How was the game? How's everything going this week in general?
Um, the game was tough. I mean, they played well. I think we just honestly played really poorly today. We didn't play very much like a team. So yeah, I mean, it happens. I didn't think we were gonna go undefeated. So I mean, you're gonna get losses. I think we'll just watch this one, see what we did wrong, and then come back tomorrow for 100 Thieves, and hopefully we can pick up one win this week.
I'm curious. Last week it seemed like you guys drafted a lot more scaling. It seemed like you were kind of just waiting for late game, and then obviously you guys were team fighting incredibly. Today it seemed like it was more of a shift towards early game with the Draven pick and some of the other champions you guys had. Is that more of a shift in strategy that you guys were looking to test out, or what was the thought process behind it?
I mean, this was just stuff we worked on. I don't think we were really trying to play for late game in the other matches
It just happened to work out that way.
necessarily. I mean, we played like Calista Ash in the match before this, so I think that we just, sometimes you just have a little bit more scaling than usual. But I think this was the plan. So I mean, I think the draft was fine, and the idea was fine. Our execution was just kind of poor. And so we'll just see.
Outside of like team goals to obviously make playoffs, try and make finals, win finals, etc., what individual goals do you have for yourself this split? Like, what are you hoping come end of spring or even end of summer? Looking back, like, what do you want to achieve?
Actually, individually, you said?
Yeah.
I don't really have any like goals to try and get like individual awards or anything necessarily. I'm really just trying to feel like as comfy as possible on stage. I'm trying to just be like as consistent as possible. I think that I think for me right now, it's like, I'm coming in. This is the first time I played Spring in a while, so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm just kind of getting in a good groove, laying the groundwork so that like, I can have like a really consistent year from front to back. And I think that's kind of like the big thing for me is just making sure that I feel like I've played as good a League of Legends as I possibly can, day after day.
I've noticed a theme now with a lot of people saying about comfortability on stage, nerves, etc. Have you noticed something behind the scenes that we don't know about on the other side? Where like, it seems like every player is a little bit more nervous on stage this year. Oh, my camera froze. Than in years past. Like, is something different now than it was in prior years? Because there's never been this level of conversation about nerves and comfortability on stage than the last 2 weeks.
I don't really feel like there's anything different. I mean, the only thing I'll say is I feel like this year, more than any, there are far more teams that have expectations than there has been previously. I think most seasons, it's usually top 5. You have top 5 teams who have good rosters on paper and they have like really high expectations for making worlds. And then the rest of the teams, like the bottom 4 or 5, are kind of just like, there. They're just doing their thing. So those players don't really have like pressure, and then like the top players usually are kind of used to it by then, so they're pretty comfortable. But I think this year, since there are so many rosters that are like have potential, I think there's probably like 7. Like there's only really one roster that I think has like no pressure, and that's IMT, right? I think every other team
you had
like,
to do it to them.
I mean, it's not true. Like that's the only roster I know where it's just like the players are like, yeah, there's no pressure. And I mean, that's just like how it is for them. But every other roster, it's like, people have expectations for what they're supposed to do. They've put together like pretty good players. So I think that's putting a big reason for it. And there aren't as many like free games. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, it's nice in LCS sometimes when you're playing like the bad team because it's just like, okay, this is a game. You can kind of just get settled. Like it doesn't matter if you don't play your best game, you can still win. You just have to like really feel it out and you can try to get comfortable. There aren't really that many of those, so maybe that's the reason. But it kind of feels that way to me.
Interesting. Two final questions for you, separate from the games themselves. First and foremost, to my knowledge, you might be the only player in any major region rocking a mullet. Is that like a intentional choice on your part, or like what's the thought behind the mullet, keeping it, maintaining it? Because I had one at one point. I tell you, it's not. It's nice to have in the back of your neck covered, but beyond that, that shit's not easy to maintain.
um, yeah, I mean, it's just like fine. I don't know. I'm not like. It's funny. I don't know. It feels like people are way more invested in it than I am. I'm kind of just vibing it because it's just where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad people are having fun with it. I'm kind of just like, it's kind of whatever. It's not it's not that big a deal, but it's cool. I'm glad people are enjoying it. At least it's something to be known for. I guess can't complain about that.
You ever seen the movie Joe Dirt by chance?
Of course.
Okay, just making sure. I was gonna say, I feel like you have an obligation at a minimum to see it if you didn't, but at least all bases are covered there.
Yeah, I've seen all those Comedy Central reruns back in the fucking 2000s, you know?
True. Wait, how old are you? I forget.
I turned 30 this year.
Okay, so we're right around the same age. That's when you say that, it's like I haven't been able to have that level of conversation with anybody yet. Final thing I got for you. Are you on TikTok at all?
No, well, I mean, not really.
Okay.
Is there a thing?
No, it's just the majority of my content I post on TikTok, so I wasn't. There's some questions that I can ask that are more tailored to people who are very ingrained in TikTok culture. But the thing I'll have for you then is a lot of people on TikTok are younger. I'd say my average audience is like 16 to 18, and a lot of them have never played League. What recommendation do you have to people who are trying out the game for the first time or might be scared to play League because of the daunting nature of both the community, the game, etc.? Like, what advice would you give them?
I mean, I think that if you want to play League and you're just starting out, you should play ARAMs until you feel comfy. I think you just play ARAMs until you like feeling comfortable and then play like normal games. When I first started, like I didn't play ranked forever, so I think that kind of gets people scared is to like get into like the really competitive side of it. But I think ARAMs and just like normal games are like a good way to just kind of learn the game slowly without it being like such a serious thing. So I would say like get into that. I think I played normal games for like a year before I started playing ranked. So it's definitely, yeah, I mean, it's cool. But I never recommend League to my friends, though. I don't know what to say. I mean, this game's not fun, so.
See, it's
definitely not fun for like casual people. You have to be like a real competitive fire to like enjoy League of Legends, I think. I think if you're not in it for the grind, you're just kind of like, it's a kind of a pain in the ass.
That's one of the big focal points I've been trying to push to people is like, how do we grow the game? And my push here in New York City is trying to get people to go out to bars and watch the LCS, and it changes the entire atmosphere of watching it with other people. So it doesn't matter what rank you are. If you're gonna go out, grab a beer, and drink with people and have fun, you can do that without needing to play the game. Like the majority of us, very few of us play American football. Yeah, we all watch it. So you don't necessarily have to play this game that, I mean, even at the professional level, people know that it can be toxic. We just got to find a way to grow it in some way. At least grow the people that watch it, and maybe that'll translate to a few people that play the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the big thing right now is how to like get new audience because everyone's getting aged out. But we'll see. I don't know.
Don't let me waste any more of your time, man. I know you got another game tomorrow against 100 Thieves, so good luck.
Yeah. If I had the solution, then I would be working at Riot for $1 million.
If I had the solution, I wouldn't be doing this interview. I'd be sitting up in a nice little penthouse on Billionaires Row, and life would be great.
Exactly.
All right. Have a good one, man. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Have a good one. Bye.